Well, let's get right into it this morning. We're talking about the number one need in relationships. It's going to be a little bit different than just the text, the talk, and the takeaway. What is your number one need in a relationship? Now, the text this morning is Genesis 3:9. But the Lord God called to the man, where are you? Where are you? Clearly, in the text, God has a need in relationship. He needs to know, Adam, where are you? Where I have a need. Now, I want you to grab something here. God is completely self-contained. God outside of God does not need anybody to be more God than who God already is. So, it's very interesting though that when we look at the text, God says, "Where are you?" There is a need in there that even though God is completely whole, completely self-contained, you cannot add to God. You cannot subtract from God. But yet God raises the question in a relationship that he has established that he has a need for them to be with him and he with them. What is your number one need in a relationship? I want to share three things in this relationship goals series that I'm just starting here. The first thing that I think with respect to any relationship, marriage, business, church, social, friendship, any relationship, you have to identify what is your number one need. What's your number one need? God says, mine is, I want to be in relationship. Now, I want to be in relationship. That's what I have a desire for. And you have to be able to identify that in any relationship that you find yourself in. Why? Here's the second thing, and this is the reason why. When you identify that number one need in a relationship, you have to put it in the fine print of the contract. A relationship is a contract, okay? I want you to get that. The relationship is a contractual agreement that we are going to be in some form of togetherness, one anotherness. We're going to be in some form of connectivity. So, what is the contract? And important in any contract, contractual law is how do I get in the contract and how do I get out of the contract? How do I get in the contract? How do I get out of the contract? Now, you say, well, I'm not in that many contracts before. If you have a credit card, if you bought a car, if you bought a house, you're in a contract. And when you sign that, they tell you this is what the deal is to get in this contract, X number of dollars to put down, whatever the case may be. And this is the deal that is going to be to get out of the contract. When you identify your needs, what your number one thing is, that's what you need to put in the contract. Okay. Why? The third thing is why. Because when that need has not been met, there has to be consequences for the needs of the relationship not being met. Okay, look at the word. God said it clearly. I have a need for us to be in relationship. Not that you're going to add to me, Adam and Eve, but the fact is we're in relationship. And a part of this relationship is you can't fool around with nobody else. Don't go and eat the fruit. That's my bottom line with you. If you do that, there are going to be, here it is, consequences. Consequences. The problem many of us have in relationships is that we have a clearly defined thing that we want out of the relationship. But when the contract is broken, there are no consequences for it. Therefore, we stay in relationships that have no fulfillment and do more subtraction than additions. They do more withdrawals than deposits. Why? Because When you identify your need, you did not then say there are going to be some consequences to this. Now, I want you to check this out. What does God do? He says, wait a minute. You broke the contract. There are consequences. You got to get out of the Garden of Eden. I want you to notice something now. Not only did he give them consequences, but he gave them a way back into the relationship. 3:15, come here. What does it say? It says, look, on this time, I'm going to give you Jesus Christ. He's going to crush the head of the serpent who has hurt our relationship. So, in the consequences of someone breaking the needs that you have in the relationship, then know that there are times in which you can say, how do we circle back and make this relationship work? Okay. Now, what's your takeaway this morning? What's your takeaway this morning on relationship goals? The number one need that you've identified, put it in the fine print of the contract, have consequences for it. What is the number one thing? The number one need in a relationship is for you to know the number one need in a relationship. That's the bottom line. If you're going to have a successful relationship, you got to identify what is my number one need. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. Share the manna. Don't keep it to yourself. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna. Bye now.